Last night, the city of brotherly love turned into the city of emboldened looters. These looters think it's okay to break into stores and steal other people's property. The question is this activity coming soon to your town? Before we talk about this, I want to remind you, because a lot of people are talking about these debates going on, and a lot of people are saying that they like Ron DeSantis because he's all about freedom. But I do want to just remind you that a couple years ago, during the COVID 1984 by George Orwell thing, he did sign SB 2006. That's Senate Bill 2006. And I just want to direct your attention to line 1107. If the individual poses a danger to the public health, and who's going to determine that? Oh yeah, this person right here is a danger to public health, therefore we need to do something about it. And what is that something they're going to do about it? The state health officer may subject the individual to isolation or quarantine. That's involuntary. That is compulsory. That is against one's will. That's a violation of your right to be free, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness and property. You remember that? If there is no practical method to isolate or quarantine the individual, the state health officer may use any means necessary to, there's that word, or treat the individual. So Ron DeSantis signed a bill into law to force somebody into a medical facility or getting something into their bodies that they don't want. Is that consistent with individual liberties? I think not. So think twice before you want to vote for Ron DeSanctimonious, as Donald J. Trump would call him. Matt Walsh and a lot of other people are posting a lot of videos from what happened last night in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. According to Andy No, BLM rioters looted a liquor store in Philadelphia during the night, and it was also Lululemon, and it was other stores, including Apple stores. We're going to watch some of this activity right now. Here's one of those. This is the robbing of a Philadelphia liquor store.
Niggas going crazy! Come on, boy! Oh, it's so close. Yeah, me too. Me too. This boy got the look.
Couple static pictures here, it looks like. Filming themselves with their stolen loot in their hands.
Those all this cops coming.
Real smart individual. By the way, we're going to see this girl right here again in front of the Apple store.
We got meatball outside.
Rest well, Eddie.
Yeah, just go ahead and give their names. Real smart. Matt Walsh says this is an easy problem to solve. Just start giving out 20-year prison sentences to looters. You only have to make a couple examples out of a few of them, and the rest of these scumbags will get the message. But of course, our government has no interest in stopping this. Quite the opposite. James Wood says this is what you get for voting basically blue. Here's another one. This is when they're in front of the Apple store stealing the iPhone 15 Pro Max.
Security running.
Oh shit, I saw it.
Yeah, Max. Max,
Actually, there's an extended version of this. Hold on one second. I'm going to go to my Twitter page. If you haven't followed me, I'm at High Impact Flicks over on Twitter, now known as X. Here's the extended version of this.
It's happening.
Now ask yourself, what is the common thread in this scene right here? What is it that you can't quite put your finger on? What is the common denominator?
Oh, my mama's happening. Oh, my God, mama. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's happening. It's happening. It's happening. This is real. This is real. God won. God won. God won. God won. Uh-huh. 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 Free iPhones. Free iPhones. Free iPhones. Look, security running.
Oh shit, I saw.
You know what I think when I think of this? When I see scenes unfold like this, I think, wow, this right here is going to be the justification to move us toward these Amazon type storefronts where you can't get in unless you have your code or you have your ID, or you're going to be using CBDCs. They lock everything up, kind of like you're seeing in some stores now. They lock things behind some display case, and you can only get it if you get an attendant coming to help you, or if you can't even enter some of these stores without some kind of QR code. This is what it makes me think of. It's like, hey, are these all funded by these activities of these kids in these different areas? Is this funded by the corporations who are actually getting ripped off so that they can implement that kind of technology, that totalitarian control?
Yeah, man.
Yo, listen.
Next. We could now. Your son's doing fine. You could.
There she is again, recording herself, stealing an iPhone, just like she recorded herself stealing liquor.
Shut it, now. Keep your feet up. I'm about to run me some good now. Yo, what's that sound? What's that sound? What's that sound?
That's the
Oh, shoot. Everybody throwing free iPhones. Let me see the iPhone. Oh, my God. What the Oh, my gosh. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Go to iPad, too. They check the iPad, too. They check. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
phones, bro. Y'all gotta break it. That's what they tracking us, bro.
Oh, this is crazy. Oh, my God. This is.
So they come to the realization of, oh, wait a second, these are disabled iPhones and they may have tracking devices. We don't want to take these things home, so they start throwing them down on the sidewalk.
It's crazy. Ain't nothing. Ain't nothing. Oh, my God, all these iPhones. And they still going on. Oh, my God. Put that shit. They got the Oh, my God. Yo, this is crazy. Oh my God, this is crazy. Ain't nothing.
Now, I'm a parent and I've hung around a lot of people who are also parents, and there's a whole bunch of people that you're around all the time who have children, and these children, you watch them grow up, and there's not one kid that my kids interacted with, not one kid that my fellow parents raised who would even think about doing this stuff. What is up? It's almost like areas where the government is involved in helping families, especially single mothers, raise these kids, produce this kind of a result in almost every case. This right here is an article from Fox. It says, Philadelphia police respond to popular retailers like Apple Store, Lululemon, and Foot Locker after they were allegedly being ravaged by swarms of looters taking over the city of brotherly love on Tuesday evening. Check this out. This is Jack in the Box employee opened fires on a customer over curly fries. I don't know if there's any sound. Yeah, there's no sound to this. So it's at a drive-through. Looks like the guy is apparently unhappy with his order. They're arguing back and forth. This guy in the truck's going to start throwing things at the window. They close the window. He throws his milkshake. Fries go everywhere. This lady right here grabs a firearm out of her waistband and points it at this guy and just opens fire. That's in Houston, Texas. This video shows the moment a former Jack in the Box employee opens fire on a customer on March 3rd, 2021 in Houston, Texas. So in Philadelphia, About 8 p.m. Tuesday, police responded to reports of large crowds of juveniles allegedly looting stores in the Center City business quarter of the 9th District. Quote, in a proactive measure, officers from the 9th District stopped a group of males dressed in black attire and wearing masks at the intersection of 17th and Chestnut Streets. You know, it almost, when I think about this, I can see why they justify laws and Supreme Court case law like Terry v. Ohio, where officer safety trumps individual rights, where it gives them the right to trample your Fourth Amendment rights, to stop you because they suspect that you might have a weapon and you might be a danger to yourself or to others in the community. I'm not saying it's right, but I see how they can come up with the justification for, hey, we've got so much rampant crime. There's so many people doing bad things that we've got to create these laws that in the dragnet, all of us who are innocent, who would never dream of doing this kind of stuff, get caught up in this law that violates individual rights. But I can see how it happens. I can see how they can hatch these plans to create more laws to take away more of our rights. As of midnight on Wednesday, police confirmed between 15 and 20 people were arrested during the looting. As officers were speaking with these individuals, they began receiving reports of looting at the Foot Locker on Chestnut Street. It was like a free-for-all all over Philadelphia. I was watching the breaking news stories just unfold on Twitter last night, or X. Responding officers arrived at Foot Locker and discovered the stores had been ransacked in a coordinated attack, they call it. And how would all these young people know to meet at the Apple Store, Foot Locker, or Lululemon, and just converge all at once, and then everybody starts doing the same thing? It's almost like they did set this up. It's almost like there was coordination going on. A number of juveniles then fled the scene, and at least one adult was arrested. So let's go back to some more of this right here. Here are the cops actually making contact with some of these people. It's pretty crazy. The girl who is filming this is just beside herself with laughter.
Oh my God!
This is so bizarre. So bizarre.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Here's another one. This is outside of Lululemon.
Uh-oh. Damn. That's, oh my God. Free Philly. Okay, don't touch him. Oh my God, record this. Record this.
Look, they had me.
Record this.
Bro, I got.
This is why we out here, because you cops don't keep your hands to yourselves.
Yeah, so the answer to the injustice and unjust and wicked and vile actions of the cops is, hey, we're going to do vile things too. That's going to make society way better.
It just started and we ain't finished.
That's a threat.
I'm telling you, police, I'm telling you.
Now, what is the answer to this? Is the answer to this, hey, we need more cops. We need militarized law enforcement personnel patrolling the streets and shutting down sidewalks at 9 o'clock. There needs to be an instituted curfew. We need to actually have, police state-like force in our neighborhoods to keep them safe. Is that really the answer? Because that's what they're going to come up with in Philadelphia and Chicago and St. Louis and Seattle and all over these places that are riddled with this kind of crime. And then innocent people get caught up in this and they start losing their rights. Is that the answer? Actually, you know what I think the answer is? It's not more police. It's not militarization. It's not getting an MRAP patrolling the streets. The answer is everybody in that society, in that town, needs to get together and have a town hall and say, you know what we need to do? We need to arm up, and we need to train up, and we need to stand together. And how do I know that works? Because when BLM and Antifa threatened to go to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, to walk and protest, have peaceful protests in the streets, the townspeople came out, most of them armed, a lot of them heavily armed, and just a small contingent of BLM and Antifers walked down the street, and they did it mighty peacefully. Why? Because an armed society is a polite society.
We're on Sherman Avenue in downtown Coeur d'Alene. We haven't seen very many protesters down here tonight, but there are quite a few people who are here that are armed. And those people told me, they say they're here tonight to protect Coeur d'Alene from any potential rioters, which are not meant to be confused with the peaceful protesters we saw today. Now take a look at what the crowd looked like near Winco and Cracker Barrel earlier today. Black Lives Matter protesters gathered on both sides of the street, and it was all pretty peaceful. With them were several people who were armed, and they told me they were there to keep the peace and protect protesters so they could do so safely. Now those protesters told me they welcome that protection.
Concerned, my wife and I have been watching this, and then when I heard that they're doing protests over in Spokane and now they've come here, I just don't want any harm happening to Coeur d'Alene.
The problem with going around the country is that the message is being lost. You know, it starts off the right way with voices being doing peaceful protesting, but unfortunately it seems like the later it gets, when the peaceful protesters leave, that's when all the craziness happens. And here, we're not going to leave. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen. And that's why we're surrounded by all these wonderful people who have guns, because they're letting us know, hey, we're standing here too because we believe in you, but we don't want the riot and the looting to happen.
If all these kids knew that all the townspeople were not just packing, but they were heavily trained, they ain't going near that. Not at all. And then if you have the laws of that town to where, hey, if somebody's doing this kind of stuff and you want to enact some vigilante street justice, you will not be penalized because we are going to protect our town. Yeah, I think the criminals will go to the next town because they want to, these criminals, these looters, they want a safe working environment. They don't want to know that when they broke the window of that liquor store to go steal the products off those shelves, that they're going to encounter any kind of resistance. They don't want that. They want to know that they can walk in there. They want to know that the laws are relaxed enough to where the cops are just slap them on the wrist. Oh, you didn't steal over $999 worth of stuff like they do in San Francisco. We're just going to let you free, and we're not even going to book you. Here's some fallout from the looting. Aftermath of downtown Philadelphia Lululemon that was targeted by black looters following the BLM-style direct action. And some people are saying online, hey, these are corporations. They deserve it. If you start justifying and saying this is okay, then you can say nothing when they go to loot your house. Doesn't matter if it's a corporation or not. This is wrong. Stealing other people's stuff is wrong. Damaging property is wrong. This is going crazy. Another angle of that same liquor store. Imagine how heartbroken you would be if you found out your kids did this. This is a parental problem. If these kids were raised right, they would not have done this.
I'm getting off. Hold on.
One of the Philadelphia looters who has 11,000 viewers asked her audience to give her $1 each. But she's bad at math. I haven't seen this one.
Hold on. Send me $1 or I'm getting off. I should have 1,100 in my shit right now. 1,100.
1,100. She's got 11.6 thousand followers on her live stream.
Yo! Okay. We going to Walmart. Right to Walmart, I'm about to do my thing. Hey, bro, ain't nobody in here. One is spirits.
Here we go. Philly looters organized their assault beforehand.
What plaza
plaza we going to?
Look at them, they is messed up.
6 and Lehigh? The plaza. Hey, come on.
These kids are driving around in some pretty nice cars. Where did they get all this money?
6 and Lehigh.
Are these their parents' cars?
It's nice, save a lot, and everything. 6 and Lehigh, come on. Everybody pay attention. Everybody pay attention.
Look, the cops right
6
there.
and Lehigh, come on.
Interesting.
That's what I'm talking about. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. Everybody must eat. What's the next one? Uh-oh, the cops.
Look! Where Mama's?
Mama's the cops. Oh my God, my sis.
Looters live streaming their activities.
Mama's! Where's my... Hold on, where's Mama's? Mama's, hurry up!
Hurry up, jump in the car.
This is called Daygia main page. What was the other girl's account called? Daygia main page. God, this is just a real head shaker, man.
What story going at first, y'all? This is
Oh my God!
Yeah, this is crazy.
So that's what happened in Philadelphia last night. Massive looting, stores being broken into, mayhem and chaos in the streets. Cops can't contain it. Leave your thoughts. What do you think should happen? Do you think the police force should be beefed up? Do you think it'd be better just to put a broadcast out to people in the area and say, hey, you know what? If we're going to do this, we got to all do it together. It's not just a cop's job. It's everybody's job to keep their community safe. Do we need a beefed up police force? Do we need a militarized police force? Do we need to institute curfews? Is that really what Americans need to be calling for? Because this is criminal activity that cannot be tolerated. So how do we deal with it? If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. This is, by the way, this is brought to you by Clowns to the left, Jokers to the right. Get a hard-hitting design on a shirt, hoodie, mug, hat, whatever you want. It really helps the channel. I really appreciate you guys being here. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell notification icon. Give it a thumbs up. Share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. Remember, freedom is dangerous and freedom has a price, and that price is eternal vigilance. The only thing more dangerous than freedom is not having it. Do not let anybody take our freedoms away. I will see you in the next video.